Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar hosted by the Computer Society of India. We are here to explore one of the most exciting developments in AI, that is generative AI, and how it can be harnessed using AWS Cloud. Generative AI refers to machine learning models that can create new content, whether it's text, images, or even code. This technology is revolutionizing industries from content creation and natural language processing to automating customer experiences. The potential is immense, but deploying these AI models efficiently can be a challenge. That's where AWS Cloud comes in. AWS provides tools like Amazon SageMaker to train models and AWS Lambda for serverless computing, making it easier to build, deploy, and scale generative AI. These cloud services allow businesses to innovate faster, more securely, and cost effectively. In today's webinar, we will cover real world use cases and best practices, showing how we can leverage Gen AI and AWS together to drive innovation into our organization. Whether you are looking to automate tasks, personalize customer interactions, or create entirely new products, AWS provides the infrastructure to build these AI capabilities to life. Now, I would like to invite Chandra sir to introduce our speaker to the lovely audience.
Thank you, Mahua. It is an absolute privilege and honor to introduce our esteemed speaker, Mamatha Shanmugam, a visionary leader in the world of technology and innovation. With a career spanning over 2 decades, Mamatha has consistently demonstrated an exceptional ability to drive transformation and create lasting value for organizations across various industries, currently serving in a leadership role at Capgemini, a, a global leader in consulting, digital transformation, and technology services. She continues to shape the future of digital solutions with her sharp strategic insights and hands on expertise. Mamatha's journey in the technology space is marked by a series of impressive accomplishments, from spearheading complex digital transformation projects to managing large scale IT operations. She has always been at the forefront of technological advancement. Her experience spans multiple domains, including cloud computing, infrastructure management, IT service delivery, and business process optimization. It's rare to find a leader who not only understands the intricacies of cutting edge technologies, but also has the foresight to align them seamlessly with business objectives. At Capgemini, Mamatha plays a critical role in driving digital initiatives that enable organizations to stay competitive in today's fast evolving tech landscape. Her ability to blend technical expertise with a deep understanding of business needs allows her to deliver innovative solutions that create sustainable growth and operational efficiency. She has a particular focus on leveraging digital tools such as cloud technologies, artificial intelligence, and automation to modernize business processes and improve customer experiences. One of Mamata's standout qualities is her inclusive leadership style. As a passionate advocate for diversity and inclusion, she has dedicated much of her career in creating environments where everyone feels empowered to contribute their best work. She believes that diverse teams drive better innovation, and she has continuously worked to foster cultures of openness, collaboration, and respect within her teams. By championing diversity, Mamatha not only creates high performing teams, but also sets a powerful example of the kind of leadership that is essential for navigating today's complex and interconnected world. In addition to her leadership in the corporate world, Mamatha is also deeply committed to mentoring and developing future talent. She has mentored countless professionals throughout her career, guiding them not just in their technical growth, but in honing them, their leadership and interpersonal skills as well. Her ability to inspire others through her own journey of success, combined with her genuine care for her colleagues, personal and professional developments is what truly sets her apart as a leader. Beyond her technical and managerial expertise, Mamatha's vision for the future of technology is both exciting and inspiring. In an era where pace of technological change is faster than ever, she recognizes the critical role that agility and adaptability play in maintaining a competitive edge. She has a keen understanding of how emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data analytics can be harnessed to unlock new opportunities and solve complex business challenges. Under her guidance, organizations have been able to not just react to the changes, but proactively embrace innovation to lead in their respective fields. Mamatha's contributions have not gone unnoticed. She is widely respected within the industry for her strategic mindset, operational excellence, and ability to lead through complex change. Her work has been recognized both within Capgemini and across the broader technology community, where she continues to serve as a role model for aspiring tech leaders. Today, we are fortunate to have her here to share her knowledge, insights, and perspectiveness on leveraging generative AI on AWS Cloud. As we navigate a world that is increasingly driven by technology, Mamata's experience and vision will offer us valuable lessons on how to adapt, innovate, and lead in this new era. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Mamatha Shanmugam as she takes the stage to share her expertise with us. If you want to ask any questions, please post them in chat and she will answer. Mamatha madam, over to you.
Thank you so much, Chandra and Mama. That was a very good introduction. So it actually, it's overwhelming for me, and thank you so much for that. And without wasting any further time, right? I'll just start sharing my screen. Let me know when you are able to see my screen.
Yes, screen is visible.
Okay. Okay. Everyone who has joined, thank you so much for joining the webinar. I know it's right after lunch. I promise you that I'm going to keep it very engaging. So feel free to ask some questions. I'll not be able to look at the chat window, but towards the end or whenever there is appropriate time, like we will take the questions for sure. So today I'll be going through various GenAI services and how we can leverage those GenAI services to reshape our client business. So what to expect from this? One second. Yeah, what to expect from this session is I'll give a brief intro about what is generative AI. I know for sure many of you would have heard in many forums, but then it will be very brief. And then the broad generative AI use cases, both at technology front as well as at industry level, right? I'll give you a overview of all those use cases where exactly, we see industry within the industries, how Gen AI is helping the businesses to shape further. And then from AWS perspective, how AWS looks at Gen AI with respect to the three layers, infra as well as foundation models, then LLMs, and then the applications built on GenAI. We'll discuss about them, and then we'll move further to look at what are the things that which AWS offers in order to build responsible AI, right? What kind of guardrails are available? How can we leverage them? And towards the end, we will also look at all these various services which you have learned, how they will holistically come as a generative AI ecosystem. So that will be the agenda for today. One thing which I will not be covering for sure is, you know, deep dive into what is RAG and what are foundational models, LLMs. So I'm expecting that if minimal fundamental understanding of these concepts already exists within this group, and that's how we will go deep dive onto AWS services and how to leverage them. Okay. So one thing I can tell you, by the end of the session, you'll be able to gain a high level of understanding of various generative AI services on AWS and what kind of use cases are there, the tools and services, and the underlying infrastructure which AWS provides to build the GenAI applications. Now even Mo was saying the same thing at the beginning, right? Like how Gen AI is shaping the entire industries, including us, the developer community, and everyone across, right? Now we are already towards the end of 2024. Now 2023 is the year where everyone says it's the truly the year of Gen AI discovery for majority of our businesses, right? And for some businesses who were early adopters, it even included a taste of initial success as well. There are certain applications which are already in production. But this year, which is 2024, and the years ahead, that is definitely going to look very different. The reason it is, we are definitely seeing the race to adopt Gen AI to accelerate at an unprecedented pace, for sure. In fact, according to Gartner, more than 80% of enterprises will have used Gen AI APIs, models, or even deployed Gen AI enabled apps in production environments by 2026. This is up less than 5% in 2023. That's how it is going to be. Now we all know how important Gen AI is. Just before we look at what is Gen AI and then all that, let me tell you a brief about how the evaluation of generative AI from artificial intelligence to machine learning and deep learning, and how it progressed, and what kind of techniques and capabilities were added over a period of time, right? To begin with, artificial intelligence, I'm sure it is not a new concept, or it is not a new term coined, right? It is there since 1950s. But that point of time, the focus was on creating systems that could just mimic human intelligence. And there were certain limitations also with such kind of mimicking of human intelligence, right? They were not able to do complex tasks and lacked the ability to learn from the data dynamically. That's where artificial intelligence was in early 1950s. Then came the era of machine learning. So here the shift is to data driven approaches, right? In the 1990s and in the early 1990s, it was mostly the algorithms which could learn from data rather than relying solely on hard coded rules. There were various statistical techniques that which were introduced, and then early generative models like Gaussian mixture models or some other Markov models, they were all developed, but they were largely focusing on how data is distributed, and from that distributed data how to generate new data points based on some certain learned patterns. These patterns are already learned, right? That is how the machine learning era was there. Then came the deep learning. This is where I would say that majority of the base for generative AI has set up. So this is the phase, or this is the era where around in 2010s, where things on neural networks, the introduction of deep learning, right, with multi-layer neural networks, that has enhanced the ability to process large data sets. That was the key. And it is not only about processing large data set, but also extracting the complex features from the data set. And that is how the GANs, the generative adversarial networks, GANs, GANs is what we call. So that in 2014, that has revolutionized by using two neural networks, generator and a discriminator. So this is where the entire shift from just a concept to what we are currently seeing, and the entire race, right, is where it has that is what I believe, that is what set the difference. Then there is not only GANs, then there was transformers as well, the transformer architecture that was introduced in 2017. So this all these things have further advanced the generative AI in natural language processing, which has allowed for context aware text generation and understanding as well. That is how the rise of deep learning introduced powerful neural network capabilities with generally with the ability to generate high quality content, right? And then it that revolutionized the entire field, and it is also expanding it itself to various applications across various domains. So if you see, generative AI just like that did not pop up in 2020s, right? It has built on layers of concepts, like layers of technologies prior to that, from 1950s to what we are today. Now, a little bit on what is generative AI, right? Definitely, generative AI refers to a subset of artificial intelligence that focuses on creating new content such as images, text, music, and much more. So how it will create it based on certain learned patterns from the existing data. So unlike traditional AI, which might classify or analyze the data, generative AI can produce original outputs that resemble the training data. So yes, training is essential, and it will generate the new data. That's the key, right? Now, what are the key features of generative AI, if you ask me? One is definitely content creation, then learning ability to learn from data, learning from data. And how does it do? As I said, like we have GANs, the generative adversarial networks, like which consists of generator and discriminator, that can work against each other to produce high quality outputs. Then there are VAEs, or we call as variational auto encoders as well. These learn to compress data into a latent space, and then it will reconstruct it, allowing for new data generation. Then there is transformers, like models like GPT, which almost all of us have used, and BERT. They use attention mechanisms to generate a coherent and contextually relevant text. So there are various ways how new text or new content is generated and how the models learn from the data. So this is a brief about what is generative AI. We are not going to go through each of these models for sure. Now, all of us, whoever are joined here, has definitely agreed to one point that Gen AI has taken the world by storm, right? Because we have been able to build consumer applications like ChatGPT experience. Right? How powerful the latest machine learning models have become. While a lot of attention is given to how consumers are using generative AI, like we ourselves are consumers, right? We are using. I think that there is even much bigger opportunity in how businesses will use to deliver amazing things for their own customers. It can be a bank or it can be a healthcare industry, how they are going to deliver amazing things for their customers and as well as for their employees. That is where the true power of Gen AI, it goes beyond the search engines or the chatbots at which we see, and it is going to transform every aspect of how companies and organizations operate. And I am already sure that many of us are already leveraging in some other way, leveraging certain chat GPT experience and all of it. And we have our mobiles where we are already seeing that AI is embedded into many of the conversations, right? So for sure, before we move on next, right, it is important for all of us to note that at its core, Gen AI is leveraging all the latest advances in machine learning. That's the key thing, and the moment there is a new advancement, and every day there is a new advancement, and that's how Gen AI is much more, it's changing, ever changing, and ever adapting every other day. Now, it's not definitely not a magic, but the latest evolution in a technology, and that, as I said, it's been evolving, right? It makes the foundation models are the FMs. They are special because they can perform so many more tasks because they contain such a large number of parameters that make them capable of learning complex concepts through their pre-training exposure to internet scale of data. And the data is in various forms and of various patterns. The foundational models, they learn to apply their knowledge with a wide range of context, right? While the capabilities and the resulting possibilities of a pre-trained foundational models are really amazing. So it is trained really on a large data sets and a complex data set as well. So customers really get excited because generally capable models can also be customized to perform domain specific functions that are differentiating to their businesses using only small fraction of the data, and they can complete the required training and the model from scratch as well. That is where the FMs you have the foundation models, and then you can you can customize the foundational models by training with the domain specific tasks as well. Now, generative AI use cases at a broad level, they can be grouped into three segments: enhancing your customer experiences, boosting your employee productivity and creativity, and for your business processes, right? Now, for any company, first customers comes in. So the customer experience enhancing, like you have your chatbots, virtual assistants, conversational analytics, personalization, all of this will help and enhance for customer experiences. These are a subset of use cases that can be leveraged, and I've grouped in such a way that you can see where exactly this can be leveraged, and it can be for any organization, right? Boosting employee productivity. Let's say for an IT industry like us, as long as the developer productivity or a tester productivity or someone who is managing the ops, for them SRE, to augment them with SRE or any other thing, right? That is productivity. And for some other, like in an organization like a financial a bank, right, where you have lot of text summarization, or you want to search from existing documents for, or it is a just by new content creation, or it is getting insights from the existing data. All that can be done, and these are the various kind of use cases, right, that which we can leverage. And the same thing comes for process optimization as well, right? You have large number of documents that needs to be processed, so you can leverage GenAI there. And need to ensure that there is lot of security, fraud detection and prevention. For that as well, you can leverage it. And definitely a lot of process optimization in order to for higher efficiencies and as well as lowering the cost as well. So many use cases at a broader level, this is what currently we are seeing where GenAI is being leveraged. Now, how all of this is leveraged in various other industries, right? See, we are seeing GenAI happening everywhere, and in certain industries, they are definitely meaningfully impacted. Like for example, in healthcare industry, use cases like automatically creating transcripts, extracting key details, and create summaries from clinician patient interactions, even for medical imaging, for enhancing the images like x-rays, MRIs, or CT scans, that can all aid for better diagnosis, right? So even they are using for drug discovery, GenAI can be used to generate new potential molecular structures for drugs. And actually, it can accelerate the process of drug discovery and reducing costs. That is within your healthcare and life sciences, various other use cases. Now, can that be used for designing a product? Yes, definitely it can be used for designing a product. Like GenAI can be used to create new product designs based on certain set of parameters and constraints. It can generate multiple design options and optimize for factors like cost, materials, and performance, including operational efficiency. That is how you can leverage that in industrial and manufacturing units. Now, it can also simulate production to identify improvements, any hidden insights which you can find from it. And you can also validate, let's say you have a model which you built, but then you want to validate through synthetica data, you can do that as well. And you can ensure that it boosts your accuracy without disrupting the entire operations. And if you want to use GenAI for maintenance assistance as well, that as well you can leverage it for. Okay. So the other thing most of us would have heard is when we talk about Gen AI, for now, what we have seen is conversational agents, right? Like people, the call center people, or you can have bots deployed or agents. The agents can be trained on product manuals, troubleshooting guides, and the maintenance notes that which the engineers would have taken. That can also be made easily available for the agents. So all this is possible from Gen AI perspective. Now, can GenAI be used in financial services? Yes, absolutely. They can be used for various other things like a portfolio management. We can use GenAI to create highly tailored investment strategies and portfolios aligned to a specific financial goals, or you want to do some intelligent advisory, that also you can leverage for. So with chatbots and call center firms, right, they can leverage to see that they can automatically transfer the complex questions from internal users and external customers. See, when we say chatbot agents, it is not only for the customer facing ones, even the including the internal employees within any organization can leverage certain assistance, right? So that as well you can leverage GenAI there. Like this, there are various other uses across. It can be for investment research, loan documentation, insurance policies, for regulatory communications, or anything for business correspondence. There are various other use cases. So looking at what you have on the slide, right, you can see that there are, it covers across all industries, not focusing only on any one particular industry. It can be retail, media, and entertainment. So With all this, right, you have seen many use cases from startups to enterprises. Almost all organizations of all sizes, they are getting started with Gen AI. So now everyone want to take the momentum, what they are building on, with early experiments and turn them into real world productivity gains and innovations. Now, how is AWS helping all of these use cases to come into, to come live or for them to get this onto production? Now, before we look at every AWS service, what is there, let's look at how all of this is stacked, right? So AWS way of looking at GenAI is having as three macro layers, and they are all equally important. So the bottom layer which you are seeing is the infrastructure used to train the foundation models and run these models in production, which is infrastructure for FM training and inference. Now there is the middle layer which provides access to all LLMs and other foundational models, as well as the tools required to build and scale GenAI applications with them. That's the middle layer. Then you have the top layer. This is where the applications built leveraging the foundational models or the LLMs so that the users can take advantage of generative AI quickly without any specialized knowledge. Now let's start with the bottom layer, right? What is bottom layer? This is the infrastructure. See, foundational models, in a nutshell, there are two main types of workloads. One is training, the other one is inference. Now, training, what is training? Training is to create and improve the foundational models by learning certain patterns from large amounts of training. You have so much of data. From that data, you are training the model, and that model will pick up, it will learn certain patterns. Now, data and inference uses these models to generate an output such as it can be a text, images, or video. So that is training and inference. These are the two types of workloads which any foundational model does. Now, these workloads, which is training and inference, they consume massive amounts of compute power. So to make GenAI use cases economical and feasible, you need to run your training and inference on incredibly performant, cost-effective infrastructure that is purpose-built for machine learning and artificial intelligence. And that is where the last layer, right, the bottom layer comes into picture. The GPUs are the chips that perform a very high level volume of mathematical calculations simultaneously, and they are very popular for workloads like machine learning simulations and 3D rendering. So now in 2010, AWS was the first to bring NVIDIA GPUs to the cloud with CG1. Now the cluster GPU instances, then AWS was again the first one to offer NVIDIA version 100 GPUs with their P3 instances. Again, they went ahead and it offered 100 times our core GPUs with their P4 instances in production. Now, why do you need all these variants? Is to see that whenever you want to train and draw inferences, your foundational models, right? You need to ensure that it is cost effective infrastructure. That is where all these are very important, that AWS continuously innovate and they have released, right? The P5 instances, they provide amazing performance for training. They're up to 4 times faster and 40% less expensive rather than the previous versions of either the P4s, and they help us to drive innovation and the broad choices that AWS customers want in machine learning and AI. So that's where the bottom layer helps in ensuring it is cost effective when you are training, and it is economically feasible for us to use the foundational models. Now, it is not only at GPU level, right? So AWS few years ago, they also have invested a lot way down to the silicon, just like what they did with Graviton for general purpose computing, right? So that's where Trianium and Inferentia came into picture. So Trianium is a purpose-built chip for training machine learning models, whereas the Inferentia is a chip that's optimized for running inference on those models. One is, as I said, you have training and you have inference, right? So you now have at silicon level, you have these two services at AWS Trainium and AWS Inferentia. Now, these any instances which are powered by Trainium have been deployed by many of the AWS customers, including you would have heard about Anthropic, Databricks. So they also have leveraged Trainium. In fact, Amazon Search, those teams also use Trainium instances to train large scale deep learning models, taking the advantage of Trainium's high performance scale reliability and most importantly, low cost. So it is 4x higher throughput and 10x lower latency. That's how Trainium and Inferentia are helping to ensure that it is both reliable with high performance and low cost. But as customers continue to train bigger models on larger data sets, it is very much important that AWS ensures that it has to ensure that price for performance price can be kept little low, and most importantly, customers also need the right tools to help train. Let's say we need the right set of tools. It's not only at the bottom layer, but also we need to understand what kind of tools are there in order to train the models and in order to deploy the models. Now that's where this is where AWS has introduced another service called AWS SageMaker. This is a fully managed service that makes it easy for developers to build, train, fine tune, and deploy machine learning and foundational models. So, various kind of powerful innovations like automatic model tuning, flexible model deployment options, tools for ML ops, and built-in features for responsible AI, all these are part of AWS SageMaker. So SageMaker has been instrumental in democratizing machine learning for tens of thousands of customers. There are already so many customers leveraging it, including Stability and AI21 Labs. Okay, now what can SageMaker do? It can train models with billions of parameters. For example, there is an organization called TAA. It has trained the 180 billion parameter Falcon foundational model. I'm sure if you search, you can, get on Falcon foundational models. That's the world's largest publicly available model on SageMaker, using over 3,000 GPUs and petabytes of data stored in S3. And you can also deploy this top ranked model using AWS SageMaker. So now, apart from AWS SageMaker, we also have Amazon SageMaker Jumpstart, which is a machine learning hub with the foundational models, various foundational models which are already existing. It serves as a hub. Right? It has built-in algorithms and pre-built ML solutions that which any of us can leverage and deploy with just a few clicks. And with SageMaker Jumpstart, we can easily access the pre-trained models, including the foundation models, and we can perform tasks like if you want to do some article summarization, you can do that. And if you want to generate some image, you can do that. So all these pre-trained models, they're all fully customizable for our own use case. See, there are various times the foundation models are there, they are trained on large volumes of generic data. Now, how do you get that customized for our own data? And how do we deploy that into production with either with a new user interface or an existing SDK? That is also very important, right? So in summary, so far what we have seen at the bottom layer is you have infrastructure for foundational model training and inference. You have AWS offers you GPMs, GPUs, the Trainiums, Inferentia, the SageMaker, and whatnot. At the infra layer, you have all of this, right? And also you have a service in the form of leveraging the foundational models. Now, if you are building your own models, so AWS is 100%, it is focusing on providing everything we need, the best chips, the most advanced virtualization, powerful petabit scale networking capability, hyperscaler clustering, and the right tools to help build. Now, another thing as within the industry, being a service provider, myself being an architect, right? We see lot of organizations, they just want to go access the most powerful models out there. They want to get started very quickly, want to experiment with different foundational models and test various use cases. We have seen various other use cases in the beginning. So they want to leverage all those use cases. They want to test that. And they don't want to miss the opportunity that they have ahead. But at the same time, they also have questions like, which model should I use? There are so many foundational models. You search, you will see so many models across. So they have questions like, which model should I use? I'm not talking about which hyperscaler should I use because we are focusing on AWS, but we also have customers asking that as well. But then let's focus on them asking, which model should I use? How can I move quickly, right, to build and deploy GenAI applications? And how do I decide which is best for my application or for my use case? And is my data secure and private? Yes, I will train the model, but how about whether it is safe? Is it going to keep the data secure and private? These are the most common questions which we hear from customers. Now, what is AWS doing and how are they handling this, right? So this is where the middle layer comes into picture. Many customers needed easier access to powerful and diverse set of LLMs and other foundational models. And then also they want to quickly build applications with those LLMs and FMs while maintaining the security and privacy. That's where AWS has brought in Amazon Bedrock. Now, Bedrock is the easiest way to build and scale generative AI applications with LLMs and other foundational models. Now, you may ask, why Bedrock? With Bedrock, we can enjoy the broadest choice of models. When I say models, the foundational models, right? Many of which are available first or only on Bedrock. You can access many FMs, many LLMs as well. You can add your own business context. In the context, when I say your own, like our customer's business context, we can add it very quickly, easily, and privately and securely with the broadest selection of customization options. And we can get enterprise grade security and privacies, right? Because Amazon Bedrock is designed to perform that from day one. Now, there are many examples of how Bedrock is leveraged. So AWS themselves, have publicly quoted that Adidas is enabling developers to get quick, accurate answers for their deep technical questions. And there are many other customers who are used, like Nasdaq. They use Bedrocks to help automatic investigate the workflows on any suspicious transactions, and then they strengthen their non-financial crime and surveillance capabilities. So there are many use cases, publicly available use cases, where customers are leveraging Amazon Bedrock. Now the other thing is, everyone is moving fast, and there's a lot of experimenting which is happening in ML world, and a lot of learning, fine tuning of the FMs and LLMs. At the same time, we need to ensure that Gen AI, which is evolving quickly, how are we capturing that? How is that being provided by AWS to the customers, right? So you look at, there are so many ways how AWS provides that. So you don't want organizations, there might be some certain organizations, they don't want to stick onto one particular cloud provider who's has only one model provider, right? So they want to try out different models. And that's where AWS, they continue to innovate, and they have FMs, a range of FMs, right? Which can be plugged in by as easy as with an API call. So Bedrock provides access to wide range of FMs like AI 21 Labs, Anthropic, and then you have Cohere, Claude, and then Llamas. So many which you can choose. And how do you choose? You choose based upon the what use case you are using and which foundational model LLMs are the best. Based on that, you decide what needs to be used, right? Now, see, while there are so many foundational models, LLMs to use, all this is really good. But as I mentioned earlier, what customers are looking for is they want to drive their business with a GenAI model that can understand their products and their operations, right? They want to customize the model. And how can you do that, right? You can customize all of this through three important techniques. Like, you have your own domain knowledge, you have your own databases through which you want to customize the foundational models. How can you do that? There are three ways how you can do that, and AWS supports all of this, right? Which is on the first technique. Let me first focus on the fine tuning one, right? See, This is an important technique in which you can point the model to examples of data which are stored in S3, let's say, and this data is labeled to provide certain context. Maybe, for example, you might want to certain proposals you have stored and you have labeled them, right? So leveraging this, the models can learn from the data what you have stored in S3. Then what happens is Bedrock makes a copy of the base models, trains it, and creates a fine-tuned model. So we will get the tailored responses. So fine-tuning is available for many models today. Now the most important one which all of us have heard is RAG, the information retrieval technique, right? Or RAG in a full form is retrieval augmented generation. So what RAG does is it allows to customize model responses when you want the model to consider new knowledge or up-to-date information. And the third one is domain adoption, which is nothing but content training, right? So it is to customize the models, you are continuously pre-training the model. So this is a technique that uses large volumes of unlabeled data like raw text of internal reports or financial plans or even research results to improve models knowledge and reasoning capabilities for the particular domain specific things. So with all these techniques are really powerful, and that's why it GenAI makes it targeted, right? And Bedrock supports all of it. It combines all of these techniques together and brings you the best as how you can customize the customer's data and present the best use cases and applications out of it. Now I'm not going to, considering the time, we only have 15 minutes, I'm not going to run through this example. So another important feature is agents, right? Yes, we have foundational models. At the end of the day, we don't want them to just become chatbots, right? We all want the applications at which we build, or they truly take certain action to get certain things done, right? So for Bedrock to be able to complete actions, like let's say it is booking a travel or filing an insurance claim or even deploying a software for a developer, right? Or ordering a replacement parts. So these kind of activities, if you want to accomplish such kind of tasks, right, it requires a lot of orchestration between multiple systems within any organization. Now that's where Amazon Bedrock agents come into picture. This is really a powerful feature because it breaks down and orchestrates the various tasks. It can securely access the company's data, and it takes actions by just through an invoking an API call. Now we have spoken a lot about Amazon Bedrock. It is very easy to choose among any leading models, and it can give you many different ways to customize GenAI applications with your own data. And it helps to combine the power of various foundational models with organization systems, data, and APIs, and you can take action. So a quick summary of what we have saw so far. One is on Amazon Bedrock. Then we also spoke about Amazon SageMaker, Jumpstart, and other things, right? Now, let me move on to I'm this again the various ways how you can customize approaches, like when you have to use RAG, when you have to use fine tuning. So all this based on how do you prioritize the use case, and there are certain rules that based on it we will select whether the technical solution does it require lowest level of customization or it requires highest level of customization. Based on that and how many processes have to be integrated, based on that you will finalize and choose a foundational model, or whether you have to build a foundational model from scratch, which is even very costly exercise. But it all depends on the use case prioritization, what use case you are building. Now, so far we spoke about all various services, right? Bedrock and SageMaker and various other things. Now, one common thing which we have seen customers, right, across, they ask for security. How secure the data is, how private are the LLMs or the FMs being trained on their data? That is one common question which they keep asking, and they want like S3 or EC2 or RDS, how much ever security they provide, they also expect the same enterprise grade features for AWS GenAI services as well. So no customer data definitely is used to train or improve the original base model. When you use or when you fine tune any model, a private version of the model is created, which is put in a secure container, and that goes nowhere, right? See, customer data is never exposed to public internet, or it never leaves as well. The AWS network is securely transferred to customers' VPC and is encrypted in transit as well as at rest. So Bedrock forces the same AWS access controls that which we have for any other AWS services has. So that's the beauty of how they keep the data secure and private. On top of it, it also supports a wide variety of regulatory standards. It is HIPAA for healthcare people. It is HIPAA eligible, and it can be used in compliance with GDPR as well. It is integrated with CloudWatch to track the usage metrics, and CloudTrail to monitor the API activity, and you can even troubleshoot issues, and it is also SOC compliant. So it gives you access to various foundational models. You can customize as well. At the same time, it is private and secure. So all this helps Bedrock has strong controls and policies in place, right? Now, but beyond security, there is one more thing, which is like we all need generative AI to be deployed safe, trustworthy, and responsible. How is that happening, right? It happens through the concept of guardrails in for Amazon Bedrock. See, for it's a capability that helps easily safeguard Gen AI applications with responsible AI policies. Every organization, right, has certain AI policies, and if they don't have today, they are framing up the policies. Now, Amazon Bedrock supports all these guardrails. Either it comes with certain guardrails, at the same time it can also support the organization's policies. So what you need to do in order to create a guardrail is just a configuration wizard. So you can just enter in a natural English kind of description of the topics which you want the model to avoid. Like you don't want the model to speak about personally identifiable information. Then you can put the topic there. Or you just want to ensure that it won't talk about any harmful thing or any controversial topic. You can put the filters there. So it's that simple. It's through you can do that through a configuration wizard. For example, a bank could configure its online assistant to refrain from providing any investment advice to prevent inappropriate content, right? Or maybe an e-commerce site could ensure that its online assistant does not use hate speech or insults when they are conversing with the customer, the bots. So all this can be done with the help of guardrails for Amazon Bedrock, and that's how the responsible AI is built within the AWS services. Now with this, we have seen the last bottom layer, middle layer, right, of what AWS has. Now let's look at the top layer, which is the applications that leverage LLMs and FMs, right? So one thing, many customers want to take advantage of the great possibilities, what is happening with innovation, and they want to improve productivity. It can be a productivity of employees by empowering them with generative AI and large language models, right? Just like the way how LLMs use vast quantities of public knowledge, customers want their employees to use all the knowledge and data that exists in their organization much more efficiently. And they want to help their employees to make better decisions, accelerate tasks, and take actions. And they want to apply AI to rapidly leverage for high value use cases, and which will leave an impact on their businesses. And how that can be done? It's through Amazon Q, right? See, there are so many people who are already using GenAI chat applications, and many of the offerings are limited in how much they can help people at work because they possess general knowledge. These foundation models which are built, right, they have general knowledge. They don't have, or they don't know a customer specific business, the customer specific data, and what kind of operations their customers require for, right? And these general chat applications are not designed to meet the data privacy or security requirements. That is where Amazon Q comes into picture. It's a GenAI powered assistant that helps write code, answer questions, summarize the data, generate new content, solve problems, manage AWS resources as well, and it can take actions. Most importantly, it can take actions. And how Amazon Q is going to help across several areas, right? First one, get the most value out of your data. So Amazon Q Business and Amazon Q in Quick Sight, they help every employee streamline the task and accelerate the decision making with insights. Then you can build better and more secure software. Amazon Q for developer helps developers and IT professionals with coding, testing, and upgrading, including to troubleshooting, performing security scanning and fixes, optimizing AWS resources, and creating data engineering pipelines. So all this can be done through Amazon Q developer. Now, it can also provide improved customer service in contact centers. You would have heard about Amazon Connect, right? So Amazon Q in Connect, they have a feature Amazon Q for Connect. It helps the contact center agents provide better customer service with real-time conversation with the customer. How it is going to have real-time conversation is it is going to leverage the company content to automatically recommend what to say or what actions an agent should take to better assist the customers. That is with Amazon Q in Connect. Then there is Amazon Q in AWS supply chain, right? So it is very helpful for inventory managers, supply and demand planners, and whoever others where they want to ask and get intelligence answers about what is happening in their entire supply chain, why it is happening, and what actions they have to take. All of this. So Q has an umbrella of various services, and all this helps, right? Now, if you look around, right, Amazon Q for business and Amazon Q for developers, these are the most important services which business went general availability. It was very recent where it went as a general available service, right? See what Amazon, it is an AI powered assistant. As I said, it can answer questions. How it does all of it is, it supports more than 40 plus connectors, all your organization existing databases such as your wikis, anything which is on intranets or your Atlassians, Gmail, or Microsoft Exchange for a matter, and Salesforce, ServiceNow. You have a lot of information which may exist, your company information, all of that there, right? So Amazon Q for business gives you connectors to easily connect to all of these sources. And once you point that, it will search all of your data, summarizes that logically, it can analyze the trends, and you can engage that bot in a dialogue manner with end users. So your own data, it can pull insights through these connectors, and it will can it is a very good GenAI powered assistant that which can be built leveraging that. Now the other thing, Amazon Q for developer, right? This is another very, almost all service companies where you can see they're leveraging this, they're experimenting on it, and this is a sort of a boon for many of us, right, whoever are in developer community, right? Amazon Q for developer impacts the entire software delivery life cycle. It makes it easier for developers, IT pros, both to build, secure, manage, and optimize the applications. So first of all, it can give you coding recommendations, and there are developer queue for agents, like it can help autonomously perform a range of tasks, everything from implementing the features, documenting, refactoring the code, and to performing software upgrades also. So it has best in class security vulnerability scanning, and it can also provide the remediations. It doesn't not only scan, but it also provides the remediations along with the code snippet, which you can look into, and you can actually leverage that as well. So both Amazon Q for business, Amazon Q for developer, they are available, and they can be leveraged for various other use cases. Now we have seen all the three layers, right? One from infrastructure for FM training and inference. What are the various tools to build with LLMs and other FMs, and applications that leverage these FMs and LLMs, right? What is there in store? Now a quick wrap up before I know we are only 1 minute short, but if you look at, right, you have your machine learning infrastructure, which we just saw, where your trainiums, inferentias, and all that comes into picture, along with many GPUs, P5s, and all of it. Then you have various foundational access to various foundational models in the form of what Bedrock can offer. Then you can build various applications leveraging all of it. And Amazon, provides its own Amazon queue for business and developer as well. So when you look at as a holistically, there are so many services, few of it which we have covered here and few I haven't covered it, but most likely we spoke about Amazon SageMaker, we spoke about Bedrock, we spoke about Amazon Q for business and Amazon Q for developer, um, and AWS SageMaker Jumpstart as well. So all of this, there are various services across the various components that which are required to build an application, GenAI application, and AWS has a service catering to each one of it. It's very easy. All of this is very simple and easy to learn. Every service, there is lot of material available online as well for you to go through, learn, and quickly implement. So with this, I would like to conclude today's session. Any questions? We can take some questions for 5 or 10 more minutes. If there are any questions, happy to take them.
I
Ye-
just wrote one question about a simple use case, which was, let's say, a chat building a chatbot on our export. So in that case, you said that, if we use Amazon Bedrock, we can point it to the data source, let's say our export library. And I understand it will not be a web link, but a typical data source link or a data set. And then it will start giving us answers on our export, right? So the question is like, what is the process? If we take this example and we say that we have Amazon Bedrock, then what is the next step? Like provide data
Why
source. Like
why go till Bedrock? Why can't we leverage Amazon Q for business as well, right? So there are 40 plus connectors. So
hmm,
you can look at that as well. And all that we need to ensure that we are able to have the connection set up. It is one easiest way to build through Amazon Q for business. Even before moving to Bedrock, right? You can still leverage that and you can try building that.
okay. But then do we have to convert those document to vector format and all that still?
No, if you are using Amazon Q for business, it does that. It has the underlying model which does the needful and it will start answering the questions.
Oh, okay, great. Do we
Maybe
have
on
a
YouTube, yeah,
do
we
we
do
have
have
a sort
certain
of
demos.
estimation template which says how much time it would take to do this? I mean, just curious, huh? Because this is saving a lot of efforts. Because what we are doing, I don't know if you're aware, there is a internal initiative called Capgemini Aura, which is the Cap GPT of the GPT of Cap. Okay, so I think there it is taking some good amount of time in terms of what is being done. But if this is as simple as that, of course, we can suggest it to the client. But then the first question comes is what is the ballpark effort and time needed? So is there some template where we can input this number of, let's say, files on export 500 and it will tell me what is the amount of time it will take to do this?
It depends on the indexing that which we need to do. So what we can do, Ashish, maybe later on, you connect with me offline and I will
Sure,
guide you.
sure.
I want to understand the use case in particular. See, as
Yeah.
such, if you are asking, is there a ready-made template that which is readily available for us to estimate? No, because Q for Business is also a fairly new AWS general availability service, right? So we are experimenting that for various customers as well. Okay, I don't want
Mhm.
to take the name of the customer since it's external forum as well, but we can discuss. You ping me on Teams, we can connect on the use case and I can guide you. And I also want to understand a little bit more details to tell you exactly how much time would it take for us to build.
Sure. Great.
But it is possible.
Mamatha ma'am, there is another question from Rashmi. She says that could you please share a use case?
Okay, there are many use cases that which I have shared, right? Like it depends on which industry, right? If you, let's say, if you are a developer or if you are someone who wants to ensure that there is some productivity which you want to achieve, go ahead and leverage. Let's say you are upgrading Java 7 version to some Java 12 or something, right? Legacy application. You can still leverage Amazon Q for developer. use that. That is one of the very good use case. Or you want to do for developers perspective, right? You want to generate test cases to test something, and you want large volumes of test data. Now, instead of creating manually, you can leverage GenAI to create that synthetic test data, which you can do. Or you want to write some, even one more very good example I can say is that you have Sonar Cube running in the DevOps pipeline. Now you want to leverage, it gives you certain report about vulnerabilities. So you can plug that report into Amazon Q. Yes, you need to convert that, you need to fetch that report into S3 and all of it. But once you do that, it can scan through that report and it can give you code suggestions, remediation suggestions as well, which are 90% a fix for them. So there are many use cases when you look at from a software development lifecycle perspective. But when you focus on industry specific, again every industry has lot of use cases, be it be from chatbots, or it can be from content summarization, or it is for a portfolio management, for pricing optimizations. There are various other use cases. Is there any specific use case which you have in mind you want to discuss here?
There was no such question asked. She only
Okay.
mentioned about a use case. So, if that is all, also we have Shubham who is asking to share the PPT that you have used to explain in this webinar. Could you please do that?
I can do that. It's most of the content which I leveraged is publicly available, so I should be able to put it. It's there on AWS websites as well, but in bits and pieces in various other places. I've
Mhm.
curated it together. I can share that with Kirti, and maybe Kirti you can circulate it back to Chandra and others to move.
Great.
Yeah, this is Chandra here. We upload this whole program into YouTube in a week's time.
Okay, that's great. So we would be concluding our webinar right now. So first of all, I would like to thank you, Mamta ma'am, for your time, Kirti for arranging this session, CSI and Chandra for facilitating this for a broader audience, and finally our lovely audience who took their time off out on a Monday and joined this session. Thank you all. So we will be coming back next month with another exciting webinar. So this is Mahua and Computer Society of India signing off. Thank you.